On the morning of June 17th, 2026, thousands of people watching a Facebook livestream saw a tense standoff end in an apparent surrender. A young man standing on a dirt road in Bihar tosses a pistol toward a distant line of police officers and announces that he has handed over his weapon. The man on screen was 28-year-old Bharat Tiwari. He had no criminal record, no past FIRs, and no history of violence. Locally, he was known as a vocal social activist who constantly pushed officials to provide relief for the victims of devastating local floods. But the safety promised by his public surrender never materialized. Hours after that video cut off, Tiwari was dead, struck by 5 police bullets. Almost immediately, local authorities painted a picture that directly contradicted his public record. They branded him as a deeply disturbed, highly dangerous individual who posed an active, lethal threat to law enforcement. It creates a jarring disconnect. When a citizen's clear, unarmed surrender is broadcast live to tens of thousands of witnesses, how does the state justify killing him? The official explanation from the Bhojpur police relied on chaos. Their press release stated they had received a tip that Tiwari, whom they abruptly labeled mentally unsound, was firing a weapon into the air. In response, they dispatched a heavily armed special task force to his village. According to the authorities, Tiwari refused to stand down and fired multiple rounds at the approaching officers. The police claimed they only returned fire in strict self-defense, aiming for his legs to incapacitate him. That narrative was immediately rejected by the people who knew him. Tiwari's family, along with his 160,000 online subscribers, pointed directly to his final broadcast, accusing the police of staging a cold-blooded murder. To separate state fiction from reality, we have to look past the official press releases and trace the undeniable physical evidence left behind in the dirt and on the autopsy table. The timeline of that morning begins with Tiwari's own digital footprint. During his live broadcast, he vents his deep frustration over the local administration's failure to rehabilitate displaced flood victims in a neighboring village. Then comes the decisive moment. He stops roughly 25 meters from the police perimeter. He tosses his improvised pistol onto the ground and clearly states to the camera, "Hatiyar inko de diya gaya hai." The weapon has been handed over. Then the feed ends. What happened next relies on the eyewitness accounts of those standing just feet away, primarily his mother, Asha Devi. According to her formal complaint, the officers did not move to arrest a disarmed suspect. Instead, they forcefully grabbed him and dragged him down into a nearby muddy ditch. When Tiwari's mother and wife rushed forward to intervene, the local subdivisional police officer allegedly ordered a lathi charge. 2 female officers physically beat the women back. The digital record shows a man disarming himself, and eyewitnesses describe a man being physically detained. Together, these accounts completely contradict the story of an active, mutual firefight. They describe a captive victim. Human memory can be contested. Physical trauma cannot. The ultimate empirical test of the state's self-defense claim lies in the official post-mortem report from the Patna Medical College and Hospital. This animated anatomical diagram visualizes the autopsy data. The police press release implied a measured, incapacitating response. The medical examiner, however, documented 5 distinct bullet wounds, all concentrated in the lower limbs. Look closely at the trajectories. The first 4 bullets struck the inner and outer areas of both thighs. The forensics showed transverse, lateral paths, indicating close-range, targeted impacts consistent with someone being shot while already on the ground. Then there is the 5th bullet. It struck the back of his left leg, traveling on a rear-to-front path. You cannot shoot an active shooter in the back of the leg if they are facing you and firing a weapon. A rear entry wound strongly suggests the target was either actively fleeing, lying prone, or completely defenseless. 5 bullets at close range, including one from behind. This specific forensic pattern removes any possibility of a standard tactical takedown. The physical evidence points to an execution. The release of these details ignited public fury. Thousands of angry villagers blocked the local expressway, hurled stones, and eventually organized a massive Mahapanchayat to demand an independent judicial probe. Faced with a viral video, glaring medical evidence, and intense public pressure, the state government broke ranks. In a rare move, authorities registered a murder FIR against 5 participating police officers, including the station house officer and the subdivisional police officer. The case quickly escalated beyond local politics, reaching the Supreme Court of India through a public interest litigation demanding a full investigation by the Central Bureau of Investigation. It is an undeniable fact that Bharat Tiwari made a critical, illegal mistake. Possessing an unlicensed firearm and brandishing it at law enforcement is a severe offense that absolutely warrants arrest. But in a functioning democracy, when a suspect throws down their weapon and places their hands on the ground, the next step must be a pair of handcuffs and a courtroom trial. It cannot be a firing squad in a muddy ditch. When a society normalizes encounter culture and cheers for instant extrajudicial justice, it erases the critical line between law enforcement and murder. And when the police become the judge, jury, and executioner, the state becomes the exact threat it claims to fight.